In 1979, a new head coach for the Los Angeles Lakers hopped on a bicycle, and what happened next didn't just change the Lakers. It triggered a butterfly effect that would ripple across the entire NBA, shaping dynasties, breaking hearts, and costing the Indiana Pacers a chance to draft Michael Jordan just 5 years later. This is the unbelievable story of how one accident set off a chain reaction that rewrote NBA history and changed the fate of multiple franchises forever. Like I said, believe it or not, the Indiana Pacers losing a chance to draft Michael Jordan actually starts with the Los Angeles Lakers. We have to go all the way back to the year 1979. Jack McKinney had just landed his first NBA head coaching job with the Lakers. This just so happened to be Magic Johnson's rookie season. While Jerry West, who had become a team consultant, suggested that Magic should be used as a forward, McKinney made the bold move of running Magic as the team's point guard. Despite Norm Nixon already being one of the league's best at that position, he made Nixon operate as a shooting guard instead. McKinney introduced an up-tempo style of play that eventually became known as Showtime. He wanted to push the pace and build a system around speed and constant transition. By November 8th, 1979, the Lakers were off to a hot start, going 9-4 through their first 13 games, and McKinney finally had a rare day off. That day, he decided to play tennis with assistant coach Paul Westhead, but here's where fate intervened. McKinney's wife was using the family car, so Jack borrowed his son's bike to get to the tennis courts. At an intersection at the bottom of a hill, the brakes failed, causing him to fly over the handlebars, landing face first on the pavement. He was rushed to the hospital, slipping in and out of a coma. At first, doctors didn't think he would survive. In an instant, the Lakers were forced to pivot. Assistant coach Paul Westhead was promoted to interim head coach. Westhead then asked Pat Riley, who at the time of the accident was just a broadcaster alongside Chick Hearn, to be his assistant. Riley only agreed after Hearn promised he'd still have his broadcasting job waiting once McKinney returned. But McKinney's recovery was slow, and the Lakers were thriving under Westhead. He never got his job back. The Lakers made Westhead the permanent coach, kept running McKinney's offense, and went on to finish 60-22 and win the NBA championship that year.
What are your feelings right now, Coach Westhead?
Well, Brent, I'm just so excited for our players. It's a long way back in Palm Springs when Jack McKinney got us all going and we just stuck together, and it's just teamwork that got us here, and we wanted to win it for the big fellow, and we sure went out and played hard for him.
How gracious of you to mention Jack McKinney at this moment.
Although McKinney was devastated, he never blamed Westhead. Meanwhile, Lakers owner Jerry Buss felt extremely guilty about the whole thing, so he convinced his business partner Frank Mariani, who had purchased the Indiana Pacers, to hire Jack McKinney for the 1980-81 season. In his first season with the Pacers, McKinney led them to their first playoff appearance since joining the NBA in 1976, and he was even named Coach of the Year.
Indiana is vastly improved, and one of the big reasons is this man, new coach Jack McKinney, who's recovered from his devastating bicycle accident of last year. McKinney, the man who started the Lakers off on the right foot last year, finding new success.
But after that season, the Pacers lost their starting center James Edwards to the Cleveland Cavaliers in free agency because they couldn't afford to pay him. Keep in mind, the Pacers reaching the playoffs for the first time was a huge deal, so in order to remain a playoff team and to keep competing, they needed to replace Edwards fast. They traded their 1984 first-round pick, which was still 3 years away, to Portland for veteran center Tom Owens. McKinney believed Owens could help because Owens played for the Trailblazers back when McKinney was an assistant in Portland, before he even coached the Lakers, so the two had a previous connection. It was rumored that one of the main reasons McKinney was desperate to push for the playoffs again was so that he could eventually get a job with a team that was better off financially, so the 1984 draft didn't even matter to him. In his mind, he wouldn't be around by then anyway, but Owens wasn't the same player he once was. He only lasted one season in Indiana, and the Pacers missed missed the playoffs. They only got worse. By 1984, Indiana had the worst record in the league, and McKinney was fired. Here's where the pain really sets in. That 1984 first-round pick that Indiana had traded away became the second overall pick in a loaded draft. Once again, because of the Tom Owens trade, that pick went to Portland, who infamously chose Sam Bowie instead of Michael Jordan. Now, would the Pacers have made the same mistake? Probably not. Indiana had already drafted a center second overall the year before, and still had Herb Williams on the roster. That means Jordan likely would have been their guy. So yeah, a bike accident in Los Angeles may have cost Indiana Michael Jordan. If he didn't get in that accident, he wouldn't have lost his Lakers job, which means the Pacers wouldn't have hired him, which also means he wouldn't have traded away their 1984 draft pick for Tom Owens. The reason this story isn't talked about much is because people only remember that Portland passed on Jordan, while the Pacers get forgotten in all of this. It looks like they just traded away the Sam Bowie pick for Tom Owens, but in reality, that pick could have landed them MJ. But I'm sure Portland fumbling that pick eases the pain a little bit. To be fair, if the Pacers had gotten Jordan, it's very possible that they never would have drafted Reggie Miller later on. So here's a question for Pacers fans. If you had a time machine, would you trade away all of those unforgettable Reggie Miller moments for Michael Jordan? While it's no guarantee that Jordan would have won 6 championships in Indiana like he did in Chicago, one thing is for sure, they wouldn't have lost to him in '98. Now again, the Pacers weren't the only ones impacted by McKinney's accident. Just 11 games into the 1981-82 season, Paul Westhead clashed with Magic Johnson and was fired, with Pat Riley replacing him.
Westhead wanted to change the offense. Magic Johnson didn't like that. Westhead was let go, and Pat Riley became the head coach. And I'll never forget because, I'd known Pat when he was, just the radio guy. And I was walking down the hallway one day, and his nickname was Riles. Like, that's what you call him. I'm like, hey, Riles. He stopped me. He said, call me Coach. I'm coach now.
Riley went on to lead the Lakers to titles in 1982, 1985, 1987, and 1988. His success helped turn the Lakers into the iconic franchise we know today. But even Riley admits that McKinney deserves credit. He's often said that if McKinney hadn't been in that accident, he probably never would have had a coaching career. Norm Nixon has also gone on record saying that McKinney doesn't nearly get enough credit for Showtime. A freak bicycle accident robbed him of the chance to go down in history as one of the greats. The Lakers' Showtime dynasty of the 80s might never have existed without Jack McKinney, which makes you wonder how many forgotten names in sports history had the right idea but the wrong twist of fate. Now, the butterfly effect didn't stop there. Pat Riley eventually left the Lakers in 1990 to coach the New York Knicks. Riley turned the 90s Knicks into winners. Well, almost winners. Then he joined the Miami Heat, built their first championship roster in 2006, and later created the Heatles. Again, it's fair to wonder, does Riley ever get those opportunities without McKinney's accident? So to recap one more time, one bike accident changed the trajectory of multiple franchises. The Lakers thrived, Riley became a legend, and the Heat dynasty was eventually formed. But the Indiana Pacers, they were left with the short end of the deal, losing out on a chance at Michael Jordan, all because of a single tragic bike ride.